people. Hope everyone is good. Right. The support in the last video, by the way, is nuts. You guys keep the energy up because this is just mental. Genuinely, I'm lost for words. Shout out to everyone who commented. Shout out to everyone who gave their opinion. I love reading them. I love doing it. Let's keep going. Let's not stop. But let's get into this video. How do we go back to the Premier League? What should we do? This is my opinion on how I think we should plan to get to the Premier League. Let's get into it. Yeah. And the first step, and the one we all know about, is head coach. The 49ers had three options, it seemed. It seemed they totally disregarded the foreign market, coaches from other leagues who have done quite well. They focused solely on domestic success. There's three tiers to this. There was Brendan Rodgers, the guy who had done the championship, done well in the Premier League. That real golden egg. The one that would be difficult, but the one that they potentially inquired about. The other two were proven championship success, Daniel Farke, Scott Parker. The third was a guy who has proven they can develop a squad from little to achieving good things. Carlos Cobrahan, John Dal Thomason, Michael Carrick are those type of names. Now, clearly, as we know, Brendan Rodgers is out of that. So the clear focus now is on the other option of player, squad developer, or guy who's won the league or been promoted. There's two different categories, and the interviews will be happening next week on that. Now, it's interesting. Which way will they go? I think 49ers are adamant on a quick return to the Premier League. I don't think they necessarily really want to take the risk to bring a development manager who has done well to get clubs from low to high in the league. I think they want an established manager who has won the league and championship or been promoted. Daniel Farke has done it twice, Scott Parker who's done it twice, been promoted twice. That's why they are in the list. It's an easy appointment, but it's not a risk in that sense. In terms of what could be a risk, that is the least, that is the safest option. You get someone like Carlos who's done incredibly well at Huddersfield and West Brom, getting them from the bottom of the championship to near the top. In a shortish period of time, it's very good development. You look at Michael Carrick, who's done similar things at Middlesbrough. You look at John Dal Thomason, who's done well at Blackburn. Those are risks. They've not proven they can get a team to the Premier League first time of asking, which I think the 49ers need and require. Which is why I think they will go with Farke unless someone else pops up as their first coach, because he's proven on 2 occasions at this level in the championship that he can deliver a winning side in the league. So that's why their mindset, which we're linking with who they choose as director of football, will be solely focused on a quick return to the Premier League. A proven source in Daniel Farke or someone of that ilk. Might be wrong. They might be really impressed by the likes of Carlos in the interview next week. They might choose to go for him. But I think their initial thought is a coach who has done that. Been there, done it. Gone up, and he's done it twice. That's my thought on coach. That is the first step they will get out of the way before we move on to the next step, which is director of football. Let's go. But clearly, you get your manager in. Let's just envision they've gone with Daniel Farke, for example. Director of football. Now, this is interesting. There's a lot of stuff coming out. Stuart Webber would be the obvious one. And it's about proof. Working with Daniel Farke, as you can see there, they did achieve promotion to the Premier League. They've proven that their model, their success together works. And the 49ers saw that clearly and thought that could work for Leeds United. But that doesn't mean that's the way they're going to go. It might not even be Farke that they get. But the idea is to get someone who they believe is proven at this level that can take Leeds to the Premier League. These two as a duo have done that. Obviously, there's a link that he's left Norwich, or is on a probation period, whatever it's called. And the link with Farke would bring him strongly to Leeds United, and he's a fan. There's also a thing about they want to bring in someone short term. It's interesting. It's almost getting someone in now who can, again, solidify your position in the top 2 to get to the Premier League. Someone who is undoubtedly able to do that, right? And maybe they have their own people. It's interesting whether they go down this project championship to Premier League or get to the Premier League now route. And it seems they are going down the get to the Premier League now route. They could have gone for a Carlos, and maybe they still will. You know, the guy from pronunciation. Yes, Dal Thomason. The coaches of that ilk, coaches who Michael Carrick, who have shown Carlos Cobran, who have shown that they can develop a squad. Clear they want someone who has proven success at this level. So in terms of director of football, do they want someone who can work with that guy to bringing better players quickly to get Leeds up quicker, as opposed to going for a more project that might take 1 or 2 years and is more of a risk? That is the question of director of football. But these two things have to be sorted fairly quickly to then get onto the main part, which is the squad of Leeds United. So step 3 for me is the squad, recruitment, player recruitment. And before you bring in players, you have to understand this. Current players there, do they want to stay or do they want to go? Have to know this. Because then you have to know who to identify, who to recruit, who to follow, you know. You don't know that unless you know who's leaving, who wants to stay. I'm sure that behind the scenes they are working hard to figure out and already know who that is. It's got to be clear on Tyler, Ruta. Do you want to stay at the club? Yes or no? If it's a no, right, let's focus strongly on those targets, those areas of the pitch to recruit in. If they do, right, that's an option. They have to understand who wants to be at the club. We do not want people at the club who do not want to be here. We do not want that environment. If they don't want to be here, let them leave. Or there's a way that you can convince them to stay and say, give us. Either way, they have to understand what they want in terms of the squad. Working with the manager and director of football as well to define this. The manager might come in and say, I want Adams, and you might sell Adams a project. But we have to understand quickly who wants to stay and who wants to go. Step 3.2. Set a statement. Whether it's the first signing, the second signing, one of the early signings of the window has to be a statement for Leeds United. Not only will this indulge the fans, it will indulge any players that are considering leaving. If you bring in a top championship player or a top player, those players might think, actually, I believe in this project, I will stay. And I've just put some examples here, Vak, Pongahama, could be anyone, right? You need to bring in a statement signing or two. I'm not saying spend 20 million. Good value players who will prove, who have proven in these two guys on the screen, in this league, how to do it. They have both done that. There's a lot of other players who have as well. Have to get a statement signing who understands this league and has proven quality in this league. It has to be early on in your recruitment. Set that statement early. 3.3. Sign proven players. You've got your statement. Got that player. And working around that, this could be before or after that player, but you have to also sign proven players. All players are not going to be a statement. Ryan Manning, who had an excellent season last season. John Swift, who's been brilliant in the Championship for years now. He was unlucky enough to play in the Premier League. Are two players I really like, and I think I will be solid options to get in the Championship. Ryan Manning's a free agent. Maybe he'll have other offers abroad or in the Premier League potentially. But can you get him? Can you get players like John Swift, who West Brom are in financial problems right now? We know this. Can you entice a player like that? What's important with these players, with all these players, is to understand that they work with the coach. They have to fit the style of the coach. That is vital. That is a constant theme throughout all of these slides. All these players you bring in have to fit around the style of play the coach requires in order to go up quickly. Right? So whether it's Ryan Manning or Swift or someone else, these type of players have to be experienced in this league, proven in this league that they can do it, and have to work well with the coach's systems and tactics. Again, loan market. Established players, yes. Marquee signings, yes. Now go out there, go to your Villas, go to your Cities, go to your top Premier League clubs who are looking to give their youngsters minutes in a competitive, good team in the Championship. Cameron Archer did it last year at Middlesbrough. He was brought in January. I think he scored like 14 goals or something and got loads of assists. Cole Palmer's an absolute baller. And these are just examples. These are not saying we'll get Cole Palmer. Maybe his level is too high for Championship right now. Maybe he will establish himself in another country in Europe, or maybe even in the first team of Man City. These type of players who, again, fit the system and work with the coach well tactically, but also are statements. A loan signing can be a real statement. You bring in Cameron Archer to Leeds United, and you've already signed, a Joel Perreault or a Hamer, and you're getting Ryan Manning in. Instantly, you're looking there and going, oh, this is a good squad here. You have to set those statements. Get good loan players in who are hungry for success. Players who can really make a difference. Players who are levels above. If you can. There's loads of people from City that you can mention. There's loads of young English people that you can mention. There's loads of other players you can mention. These are just two I've picked out. Doesn't mean these two, just any from that. There's loads of City players that could make that mark. Sure. Make statements on get good, smart loan signings. Wildcard. Look, I highly doubt, and you look at all promotion teams, you go up with just Championship and English players. It doesn't work like that, really. Often you have to go into foreign markets such as Holland, Belgium, Germany. Places like that tend to be with players who have proven decent level playing in those leagues. We saw it with Burnley last year. They brought in a lot of players from Belgium, which was, of course, Vincent Kompany used to coach. They brought in a few players from Belgium who really tore up the Championship. We have to work with that similar ilk, depending on who the coach is. And these two guys who were in my video, check that out, about players we should bring in, are those type of players. Striking Ollie Romney right here, as you can see, who did really well in the Dutch league. Probably not well enough to establish himself in the Premier League. Players like that ilk, right? And Wittig right there, who did really well last year as a fullback. Solid options who can come into a team and either do well, develop, or improve the team. Like we saw when we brought in Alioski, for example, Matthias Klick. Those type of players, right? Looking at those markets, bringing in players from those markets who might be cheap but have real high potential. Those are important. Step 3.6. This is my last step in terms of recruitment. Assess the youth. And this could happen before all this. But once you've got everyone and the bulk of your squad there, starting pre-season, the youth guys, some of the top guys, you're looking at Darko JB, Archie Gray, Sonny Perkins, Matteo Joseph, Mullen, Montero, these type of guys. You're looking at them, assessing them, understanding right now, will they go on loan or will they stay? Because what we've got in here is experience, key players, important players, some wildcard players who could work, some loan players. Now you need to integrate some youth players at your club who can really develop, not only for help the squad, also to increase the value, which is also important, right? Players like Darko JB and Sonny Perkins, for me, would fit that mould. Whether they start every game or they play significant parts coming off the bench, getting 30, 40 minutes a game, start some games if there's an injury, or do you send them on loan? You have to assess and understand how you can best fit these youth players, because we have really good youth squad. Yeah, we do. And these guys on the screen, especially, is it that way, that guy down there, the one on the far, you know my feelings about him. Don't waste them. Don't let them sit on the bench and not get minutes. Assess them. Do they need to go on loan and get loads of minutes at a good club? Or can they develop better at the club with the manager? Also important that we invest in youth as well. We're in Premier League 1 now. We're in a higher league in that sense. So a lot of these young guys might stay an extra year just to play in that competitive league. We need to invest in the youth. So we can't stop doing that. We've also got to keep investing in the youth steadily. And those are my steps. But first of all, you have to understand where you are and the situation you are as a club. Players you want to bring in, the coach and director of football, whoever that is, have to work together to bring in the right players, proven players, star signings, some wild cards in there who have shown good stats and you've been scouting and you're really impressed with, who you can get for a good value. Loan players, vital in the Championship, vital. And some youth players. Mix them together and you have the ingredients to win the league or be competitive in winning the league. Now, of course, with these players, you have to get them right. That's why working with the coach together, both of you have to be right to get those players right. Has to be as one, understanding where you are, where you want to go, getting those players in, working with the coach, developing them. Boom. That's what we need to do, in my opinion. That's the role we need to take. That's how it needs to be done fairly quick. Don't rush it. Don't rush players. Make sure they're the right ones. It is vital. 49ers do want that quick return. They will have to move quickly but effectively to get these players. We don't want to see players on big wages who are not that bothered, who are just kind of here, which we've seen happen at West Brom, seen happen at Watford, Stoke. When they came down, they didn't invest in the right players. They got good names, but they were not the right players. They didn't fit the ethos. They didn't fit the coaching style. Have to get those players who fit that. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. You know, there's a lot that goes into this. We have to get this right. 49ers who we allegedly want to have quick return. We have to get this right. Let me know what you guys think. Please leave a like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. I'm on the road to 1,000 subscribers, which is mental, by the way. If we can get there, I'll do some live streams. That's my promise. That's my promise. I'll do these videos live. We can talk, right? There you go. There's an incentive. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Appreciate the support.